Well, hello there guys. So for today's video, it is going to be a different one, and that is because we're going to be talking about not just the behind the scenes of YouTube, but of digital content creation in general. So if you've been curious about how sponsorships work, or just like the business side of being a digital content creator, or influencer as some people call them, stay tuned because we're going to talk about all that and answer your guys' questions. There's going to be several topics that I will hit on in this. I'm going to leave like timestamps down in the description box, so if there's something you are specifically interested in, or if we get onto something and you know that one you want to skip to the next, it'll be there for you, so you can just click it and it'll take you right to the next one. But we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff here, and hopefully you guys get some new insider information. I don't know. Like I said, this pertains to YouTube, and some of it may be YouTube specific, but there is a lot of it just umbrellas over all of digital content creation, no matter what platform you're on. Whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook pages, YouTube, like I said, Twitter, it's all encompassing. Also, just a little heads up, my kids are upstairs with their dad and my Great Danes are in their space, so you might hear some noise in the background. So first we are going to talk about how we make money. And I'm not talking about sponsorships, I'm talking about ad revenue. So as far as I know, out of the main platforms for digital content creation, there are only two that actually have like ad payments, and that is Facebook and YouTube. So Facebook is relatively new. It's only in just the last couple of years that they've started doing that, and just recently they've really started rolling it out to most people. So a lot of people think that you are paid based on views, which to some extent is true. Obviously, the more views you get, the more money you're going to get. But there are a lot of factors that come into play with how much you're going to make off your video. There's something called CPM, and your price for that is, I think it's usually per thousand is what it's like referred to as, but it's a number dollar amount that is per that amount, and the number will be higher or lower based on really your audience demographic and the video type that you're doing. So somebody that creates kids content, they grow quickly on YouTube, but their CPM is not going to be as high as someone like me who creates content for women who are between the ages of 24 and 35, because I have the prime audience for buying things. So my videos are worth more to companies, so they put more money towards my content, which is funny because my content is minimalism. But they put more money towards my content than they would towards kids or people that had a main audience of like over 60 years old. Basically, if your audience is mainly women between the ages of 24 and 45, you're really good. You're gonna have a really high CPM compared to other people. And so your video with, say, 20,000 views is gonna make a lot more money than another video that had the same exact number of views, but their audience was only kids or was the much older generation. So I'm gonna give you guys actually some real life examples of a few of my videos that have like recently taken off. So these video examples, I'll try to pull some that haven't like done viral numbers. Minimalist kids room tour. So this actually pulled more kids in, and the views on it are 170,000 over lifetime, and my lifetime revenue on it is sitting at $372. Now let's go to a video that I did recently that didn't like take off in any big crazy way. So how about like ethical toddler capsule wardrobe? That video has 3,800 views, so 3,800 views, and my revenue on it was $27. So I recorded that video and made $27 off of about 3,800 views. And this is where I say that, like, you know, YouTube takes a lot of time. So I made about $27 from that video that had 3,800 views. It probably took me 20 minutes to film that video, and then took me another 2 hours at least to edit it. So 2.5 hours of filming and editing for 27 bucks. I do thankfully have videos consistently that get more views. So I'll have like my average views of like 4,000 to 6,000. And every couple videos I usually will have one that gets between 16 and 25, 30,000 views. And that kind of like makes up for the fact that like I'm not really making a lot of money. And I got a question from one of you guys asking if being a digital content creator was worth it, because there is a lot of like crappy sides of things. And obviously like the income side of things doesn't always like even out. And especially in the beginning, you know, this is years of work that I've put into it. And some people are really lucky, and within 2-3 years, they have 200,000 subscribers and they're doing great, and every single video they make is well worth their time. But that's just not the reality for most creators. Someone like me, this is obviously my second channel. My first one has almost 70,000 subscribers, I think, and then, or 60, yes, that one has almost 60,000 subscribers, and this channel has just over 30,000 subscribers. And I'm really not like a numbers focus. Obviously, I couldn't remember how many subscribers I had on my vlog channel. For me, it's 100% worth it because I love doing this. I love creating content. It's my creative outlet. I am a creative person naturally, so like this is fun for me too. Obviously there are times where I have to step away, and I've done a lot of that over the last couple months, just for like my own mental health that I kind of had to work on, and spending time with my family. You know, I got asked, how do I take care of everything with kids? Honestly, I didn't have an issue when I had 1 or 2 kids. It wasn't until I had Rensley that it's gotten a lot harder to juggle everything. And that goes into my next thing, which is how long does it actually take to do YouTube every week? So that will be based entirely on how many videos you're doing every week and the type of content that you're doing. Some people will spend 8 to 12 hours or more editing a video, and those are more your like really high quality vloggers who are doing like insane shots and have tons of footage that they're taking. And then you have someone like my channel who's more of like an instructional type video, where some videos could take me maybe 20 minutes to film, and other videos may take me 2 hours to film or more, it depends. And then editing for me, typically I'm a fast editor, so keep that in mind. I have several friends on YouTube who take probably 4 to 6 hours to edit a video, and that same video will probably take me maybe 2 hours to edit. I'm a very efficient editor, and I think that's just like one of my talents is being a very quick editor. But when it comes to the hours side of things, I would say it really is like a full-time job for most people, because you also have to take into account that it's not just editing and filming. There's also the whole other side of it that you guys don't ever like see or hear about, and that's the business side of like emails. Right now I have 30 business emails that I have not even gotten to yet this Christmas season that I need to respond to, and that's not even like all the ones I've gotten. Like I've probably deleted triple that amount over the holiday season, maybe quadruple that amount, because we get a lot of like Amazon sellers that are like, hey, I'll send you this if you talk about it. And I'm like, no, delete. I get a ton of emails. So I have 30 emails that I might actually be interested in that I still need to respond to, because it takes a lot of time. So between that and responding to businesses that I'm already working with, and then take on top of that responding to comments, which I don't like to consider that as like part of my job, responding to you guys, but it is part of it that takes up a lot of time. When you're a digital content creator, sure, you could ignore all your viewers and not respond to any comments. I don't really think that's polite. If you want to do that, sure, have at it, and it won't take you any extra time if you don't want to read or respond to comments. But I do think that that's like half the fun of like being a digital content creator. I know when a lot of stuff was going on and people didn't have comments, it was freeing in some ways because we didn't have to deal with hate. But then there was the other side of it of like not interacting with your viewers and not knowing what they thought of what you created here on YouTube, and like that's difficult. For me, like I love reading your comments, I love responding, but when it comes down to it, that does take a lot of time. And so I don't respond to every single comment. But here on YouTube, for instance, I love every single comment. On Instagram, I try to like every single comment so that you guys know I'm reading them, and I don't just go through and click them all. I only hit that love button once I've read it. If it's something that's like rude or I was annoyed with, I won't love it. Just point blank. So if you think that I skipped over yours and I didn't love it for some reason, it's probably because you said something rude. So when you take everything into account with editing, filming, responding to business emails, responding to comments, reading comments, it is a lot of time. And so it's no wonder that a lot of creators end up eventually hiring like assistants to help with that. A lot of people, honestly, when they get really big, they can't keep up with comments. They just can't. So the next question I got quite a few of was editing. What do I use to edit? How do I learn to edit? I honestly just figured it out on my own, and then also with the help of YouTube videos. YouTube is a wonderful place for even helping you learn to do YouTube or to edit videos in general. And so all you have to do is click on there and figure out what you're trying to do, and then bam, done. So I personally use Final Cut Pro to edit. It is not something that I suggest people start off with. I started out with iMovie. If you have a MacBook or even an iPad, I think you can do it on iPad too. You can use iMovie for free. If you have a newer one, it comes with it automatically. I know a lot of people also use Adobe Premiere. I personally just, it's too many buttons for me. I've looked at it. It's just too much. I really like that Final Cut is pretty simplistic, straightforward. I can quickly edit with it, and there are still plugins that I can get from like places like Pixel Film Studios. If I want to have like fun lower thirds and things that I want to add to my videos, I can do that. There's a lot of other ones like Windows Movie Maker, Filmora I think is another one, but the most two frequently used once people become very comfortable with editing and they actually invest in an editor is Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere. Those are the two that you will find most often that people will use. And then when it comes to finding like music and stuff like that, oh man, finding music that can take a long time. I've thankfully gotten very efficient at it. I use two sites mainly to find my music, and that is Epidemic Sound and Artlist. Artlist is newer out there. I think Artlist has like a referral code and you guys get like a couple months off or something like that. I'll have it down below for you guys. I've really been liking Artlist, but Epidemic Sound is of course always a really good go-to, and it's pretty inexpensive. You can pay monthly for it. I think you might be able to pay yearly too. But the one thing I like about Artlist is I don't have to pay for a subscription for every single platform. Where with Epidemic Sound, you would have to have like a license for my Facebook, for each Facebook page, for each YouTube channel. It gets expensive when you're doing it that way, where with Artlist, they also have it where once you download it, it is yours to use forever. Where Epidemic Sound, you can still have those videos that had that music when you had a subscription, but as soon as you end your subscription, you no longer can use that music. Where with Artlist, I've already downloaded, it's already mine. I can continue to use it forever, even if I canceled my Artlist subscription. So I really like that about them. So yeah, I've been pleased with them. You of course can also go like the route of talking to small artists on like SoundCloud. I used to do that way back in the beginning, but it took a ton of time to dig into SoundCloud. I would spend literally hours trying to find music on there. I found some really good artists and some really good musicians that I still listen to today, like Lav. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who Lav is. I'm an OG Lav listener. If you go back to like our old vlogs, you'll hear some of his songs. And I used to use some of his stuff way back in the day. Alinium, he's been like starting to do a lot of stuff with bigger people. Like he's someone that I used to use all the time. But like I said, digging through SoundCloud and then sending messages to see if you can use their music and waiting for them to respond back, and it can take a really long time. Okay, so this lighting is going wonky. We're gonna talk about the one that I think most people have questions about, and that is sponsorships. How do we get sponsorships? How do sponsorships work? Yada, yada, yada. So like I talked about before initially with emails, is one of the ways that you can get sponsorships is just from the companies emailing you. They will have searched your YouTube channel or Instagram or whatever, they may have came across it, and they'll send you an email. At the bottom of my description on my YouTube videos, I have like a business email for just business inquiries only. On Instagram, I have a business contact button so that they can contact there, or they'll send like DMs on Instagram, things like that. So that's the first like just typical way, that is they'll reach out to you. And that for me started happening around 10,000 subscribers, I think. In the beginning, you'll see a lot of creators will just take things for free. So per like FTC laws, if I take something from a brand and it is with the agreement that, you know, if you send me this product and I post it and I talk about it, it automatically is considered a sponsorship. So it doesn't matter if they have paid me monetarily or not. If they have sent me something with the expectation that I'm going to post a video about it, that is considered the payment in and of itself, and I have to put that it's sponsored. Now, say that they send something like Banza, for instance. I'm on their PR list. So they send me, every couple months, they'll send me like a box with some noodles in it. But it's not with the expectation that I post anything. So I don't have to post anything, I don't have to say anything, they just send it to me. Now that, if I do talk about it, I don't have to say that it's sponsored. I do have to make known that it was given to me. So like I have to say gifted, like use the hashtag gifted on Instagram or whatever. Or if it's YouTube, I have to say that they sent it to me. But I don't have to say that it's sponsored. I don't have to use the hashtag ad on Instagram or Facebook. Of course then, as you get bigger on YouTube, you will then start to get paid for sponsorships. And there's a lot of ways you can go about figuring out how much you get paid. It takes time to figure out how to negotiate with companies. Unfortunately, being point blank, there are some digital content creators that are just doing sponsorships for money. They're not taking into account the type of sponsorships they're doing, but really just if they're paying the amount that they want, they will push it. And that sucks, but I do genuinely think that most creators have good intentions because they know that, you know, their viewers are the reason that they're able to do this. And that's why I've never understood why you would alienate your viewership from trusting like your point of view by pumping some product that you very clearly would normally not align with. And I will say that as an influencer, sometimes you'll see a number and it's very hard not to try to justify in your head like why you should do that, especially because like I talked about, sometimes you'll go through a period where you're not making a ton of money on YouTube and you'll get handed this sponsorship opportunity that's a lot of money, but it doesn't perfectly align, and so you'll try to like come up with excuses for why. But for me, it's just not worth it. One thing that is like really valuable for content creators is ROI, which is return on investment. So it's meaning that a company, if you have a high ROI, that means that when a company invests in you, they have a higher return on investment for you. So if you're a creator that is constantly pushing, you know, different products that you obviously don't really align with based on your other content that isn't sponsored, you're gonna have a very low ROI because nothing you talk about, your viewers are going to trust. They're not going to believe that the product that you're talking about is really good or something that you stand behind, because in another video over here, you talked about how you would never use that product, you know what I mean? But like I said, for the most part, I think that genuinely creators have good intentions when it comes to sponsorships, and they do genuinely love and enjoy the products they have. It's important to note that when I talk with a company, we agree on a number and they send me their product, I can still say no. You know, every single creator is gonna have their own like moral compass that they're going to follow when it comes to sponsorships. But I know that all the creators that I personally interact with and know, you know, they're not going to take a product and then pump it that very same day without actually using it first. You know, they're going to use it for a little while and make sure that they actually like it before they talk about it with their viewership. And then also I know, like for me, I won't ever follow a script. Like that is something that I won't ever agree to do. There are talking points certainly that a company can ask me to mention. I have no issue including that because they obviously want viewers to know like what is the positive side of like their products. But if a company were to hand me, which they've definitely done this for quite a few influencers before, like literally handing scripts that they want to read word for word for word. Digital content creators is still a new field, and so for the marketing departments of companies, it's still something they're learning. So I think that some of them just don't fully understand that why we have so much value to those companies is because my relationship with you guys, my viewers, is much different than the relationship that you have with a ad that you see on TV or even a celebrity that you follow on YouTube, because they're just not quite as personal as like a digital content creator like me or somebody else. And so because of that, our viewers trust us a lot more. So when you hand us something that isn't authentic to our brand, or you ask us to say things that like aren't coming straight from our mouth, it's just not, like I said, the ROI or the return on investment is not gonna be as good for them because it's not authentic. If you were to ask a creator what their biggest frustration is with sponsorships and dealing with companies, it would probably be that they lowball or they underpay what they're supposed to. And you know, a lot of people will say like, just be grateful that you get free stuff or that you get sent things. But I don't think that people take into consideration that the way that they treat, you know, influencers, or the fact that they are lowballing what they should be paying influencers, it says a lot about how they potentially treat their customers. If a company isn't willing to pay what they should for a video, it tells me that one, they don't respect my time, they don't respect the content that I make, and that they probably don't respect their customers because they're not even willing to put their money where their mouth is. You know, they just want free publicity. You know, they know that it will cost them a ton more money to do an ad on TV or to pay for ads to be played on YouTube videos before and after on the pop-ups. You know, they know they'll have to pay a lot more, and so they just want to be cheap. And so for me, it's like, okay, if you're not willing to pay a creator for their time that they're putting in to talk about your product, what are you going to tell that customer that reaches out to you because you sent them a defective product? Like, are you not going to replace things for them because, you know, they're just kind of showing that they're cheap and they're not really valuing the person that they're trying to get to promote their product? There are some products that I will take for no payment, and that is products that are like really high value and that I personally already wanted. Usually every creator will have a specific area, platform that they're okay with doing just product in exchange for posts. And for me, that's Instagram stories. Like, that's usually the only place that I'll do it. I had to move the camera because of the sun, but we're also gonna talk about other ways to find sponsorships, and that is through, there are actually special like websites that have been created to help companies get in contact with digital content creators. So like some of those are like Aspire IQ, FameBit. FameBit is like super junky now, it's just full of a lot of crap. Aspire IQ is one of the ones that I use the most frequently, I would say. I find a lot of great companies on there that are reputable and have good products, and are willing to actually, you know, respect my time as a creator and my viewers. So how it works though is if you see a company that you would like to work with, you put what your cost is, and then you would put like a little pitch. You would pitch them, you know, a video idea that you were going to do or whatever, and then they would reach out to you if they want to continue to work with you. And then of course the other option option is reaching out to them yourselves. So I don't do this myself anymore. I actually have hired somebody who does it for me, and if I want to work with a company, I will let her know, and I will create a pitch deck for her, send it to her, and then she will send it to the, after she like gets in contact and talks with them, she'll send the pitch deck, and then they will say whether like, yeah, let's do something or not. Now pitch deck is like, I could go on for that, but it's basically like a pretty Word document that says, you know, why they should work with my brand, and like the cost for certain things and the different like video concept ideas or whatever. You don't necessarily have to go through the great lengths of like creating an entire pitch deck for them. I've also gone on Instagram and just reached out and been like, hey, do you have a marketing department that I can get in contact with? Or can we speak like here about potentially working together? And so I've worked with companies that way. And obviously for me, I am pretty particular about what I talk about because of being a minimalist. I like reaching out to companies personally more than them reaching out to me. I think pretty much 90% of the companies that I work with are ones that I've either personally submitted a proposal for on a place like Aspire IQ, or I have reached out to personally. So the next question is hiring a manager and how that works. So a lot of people you will see have a network, as it's called, and that network is someone that they used to have a lot more purpose, now not so much anymore. We are with a network, and I like it for the safety side of things. If something goes really wrong for my channel, they have direct access to YouTube to get things fixed. But they used to do a lot more, and some of them will reach out and find sponsorships. Our network does occasionally, but other ones are really just there to take your money, and they're really not that helpful. Then you have the newer, it's not new, but the better option of having a manager. So that's what I was talking about when it comes to, I have somebody else that will reach out to companies for me. So they just take a percentage of whatever that company pays, they get a percentage of. So managers are just a better option because one, like they aren't taking your AdSense revenue, where a network that is directly linked to your YouTube channel, for instance, they will take a percentage of all of your ad revenue. So typically it'll be like an 80-10 split or a 90-10 split, where the creator will get 90 or 80 and then the network will get 10 or 20% of whatever it is. YouTube has progressed so much though that like networks aren't really a need anymore. I do like them. Like I said, we're still with one for the safety side of things. We've had a lot of things that have come up that people without networks have had come up, and they're not able to get them fixed in a timely manner, and ours will be fixed within a week and it's done. And so I like having that safety of a network. And some people like, they don't care and it's fine, and that's awesome, but they definitely don't have as much positive impact as they did back in the day. And now like a manager is really all you need, and you don't even need, like you can manage yourself if you want to. So this video has already gotten like super long, so I'm gonna cut it here. Hopefully I'm able to edit down to like under 30 minutes at least. If you think of anything that you're curious about, let me know down in the comments below, and I will do another video talking about behind the scenes to answer more of your questions, and I will see all of your wonderful faces in my next video. Bye.